Embarrassing. That is what it is. Embarrassing. That is what this scoreline, these aggregate is. 8-2 aggregate. I think the last time that Chelsea lost this heavily in the Champions League, 7-1 against Bayern Munich. At least the first one, I think the first leg was at Stamford Bridge, we lost 3-0. The second one was 4-1. That was in 2019, 2020 season. Remember, that season Frank Lampard was in charge and it was our academy players. Most of our academy players, they were the ones that played that game. We had a 1 year transfer back. If you could remember, that was what it was then. Academy players, mostly majority, the Tammy Abrahams, the Tamoris, the Mason Mount. I think that was the year that Rhys James came along, Chaloba, and the rest of them, academy boys. You could understand. That was understandable then, even though it was a heavy defeat. But this is the worst Chelsea performance. 8-2 on aggregate. This is totally unacceptable. And do you know the thing is that I have said it in the past that I don't think there's any bad result that Liam Rosina is going to get. That you will see me come here and critique Liam Rosina. I will not do that. I don't have any problem with Liam Rosina because he's not supposed to be in this job to start with. The people that I have issue are first the delusional Chelsea fans who are stupid enough not to see the handwriting on the wall. I think maybe after this humiliating defeat from PSG, I think this should be a wake up call to some of these delusional Chelsea fans who they always reiterate these rhetorics, this rhetoric that this ownership I've told them severally that this ownership they spend so much time in putting out a good PR out there, gaslighting everybody. And a lot of people don't really have sense in this day and age. That is just a fact. You can see what is happening before your eye, and they are telling you, they are pushing a certain narrative, and you go along and you believe such nonsense. You believe such nonsense. There is no need of me talking about Enzo Maresca, but I need to talk about him. Enzo Maresca came out and told us that he has restrictions. And you could see foolish Chelsea fans, arguing, defending this ownership, this blue coat ownership. Because of why this blue coat ownership, I've said it in the past, they spend so much time in trying to put out a good PR. They are just like a bad government, When you tell a bad government that the government is bad, that this is happening, they focus all their energy in putting out a good PR. And there are citizens that believe in such nonsense. The same with some Chelsea fans that believe in such nonsense. Enzo Maresca, he came out and criticized the ownership publicly. What did the ownership do in response? They started assassinating Enzo Maresca's character, talking about how he's talking to Man City, all sorts of rubbish. And a lot of Chelsea fans, they went with this kind of negative PR about Enzo Maresca. What Enzo Maresca did at Chelsea was magic. He performed magic for us. That is just the fact. We were not good enough. It was Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca, what he did. In fact, you could clearly see this in the first leg that PSG played against us. When the game was still at 1-0, 2-2, towards that period, when we were not far blown away in the match. PSG, they were kind of scared. That is just the fact. When they become comfortable was when, the goals started flowing in. You could see in this second leg, they played very, very comfortably, total in control. It was as if they were playing academy boys. But that first leg, because of what happened in the club, because that club shocked them. Forget about fatigue and all that. Did they play more matches than Chelsea? They didn't. It's not really much about fatigue. Enzo Maresca, outclassed Luis Enrique. And Luis Enrique, he was cautioned, he was scared. All of them, all the PSG team, you could see the nervousness in their team in the first leg. But what happened in the second leg? They found out that Enzo Maresca is no longer here, that this Chelsea team is a walkover. And which we are 3-0 is a walkover scoreline. That was what it was. Embarrassing. The ownership, Clearly, Todd Bowley, the whole consumption, they are a disaster to this football club. And if any Chelsea fan fails to realize this, I think you have a mental issue. You have problem with comprehending easy things. You don't really have understanding. That is just what it is. The problem is at the top. You know the funniest thing? Enzo Maresca won the Club World Cup. He overachieved the expectation. The expectation of Enzo Maresca was to qualify us for the Champions League. If possible, win any trophy, which was not migrated. But the main thing was qualify us for the Champions League. He qualified us for the Champions League, won two trophies. Enzo Maresca then asked you to give him a little control. Let him be a little bit in charge. Sign certain players for me. Just one or two players. Experience. That was what Enzo Maresca was asking for. You know what they did? They give more contract extension to the club directors. The board. That was what they did. Forgetting the architects, the magician had made this thing happen, only for them to fall out with him. The big result that Enzo Maresca got in big matches, those were miracles. I don't have any issue with Liam Rosinha. In fact, if this Chelsea team loses 10-0, you will not see me come out here and critique Liam Rosinha. I will not do that. The people that I have issue is with the ownership and those on top. Badalek Bale, Jose Feliciano. I think there is one fella, what is his name? Daniel, I've forgotten his name. One of the, I think, Chelsea Foundation chair. I've forgotten his name. He came out to tell us, I think that protest that Chelsea fans did then, he had a secret meeting with the fans. And in that, this was supposed to be a secret. He told them that Luis Enrique wouldn't have fit this Chelsea money. And true, no sensible or high quality manager will fit into this madness of a model. That is just that. And they are saying that the result and the manager, it doesn't correlate, that they are two different entities. That is to tell you what we are dealing with. This ownership and this board, they are just lunatics. We are not going to be anything. We are not going to achieve anything. What Enzo Maresca did was a miracle. And I don't see that happening. No reasonable or high value manager will come near or close to this phenomenon. Even some certain players won't come to this kind of chaos and madness. That is it. That is what it is. Change needs to happen from the top. That is where the problem lies, the top. And that's it, Chelsea fans. I don't know if you have your own opinion. You can say whatever you want to say in the comment section. I'll be here.